have a sighting of the Winged Dragon of Ra with Odion's cards, some Sage with Eyes of Blue, and we've also got some action for Ogdoadic. Make sure you guys smash the link, crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. I've been trying to follow as many of these Odion decks as I can because this deck is freaking so cool, man. Actually having a deck with Winged Dragon of Ra actually showing up in the meta and actually being a card that you can, you know, work with. This is really cool. This deck also is kind of tacked out. It has a Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, I guess, for the localized meta, depending on how things go. Interesting choices on 2 Ogre versus the 1 Reaper, but alright, we've also got the 2 Merciless Scorpion, and of course, you know, you get to play all this cool little Winged Dragon or Ra support. We're relying on Pot of X-Drive here, I guess, to net us some resources, and it looks like Apophis of the Serpent has turned into a 2 of, with Swamp Deity being a 3 of, and Embodiment ending up as a 1 of, and then you've also see that, you know, we're dedicating a slot to the Statue of Anguish. I don't really think that that's going to change. Interestingly enough, with the whole Pot of Extravagance thing, this build is only playing a singular copy of Silo Hat Rabbit, and I understand that, like, some of the combos are not always going to lead to, you know, Silo Hat Rabbit being the optimal touchdown, but I do feel like sometimes that this is a big help to, you know, get the combo where it needs to be. Outside of that, good side deck choices on the Soul Drains. We've seen this pop up every once in a while. Depends on how infested that your locals is with Malice. If you have a huge Malice infestation, well, this card is going to be a huge help. And also, this chose to play the Verdict of the Anubis in the side deck. I don't necessarily disagree with this. Verdict is a good card, but having access to it in the side deck, I think works out just fine. But this is incredibly good to see. I'm really happy to report on this, and also only 1 Temple of the Kings. Okay, next up here, we have the Invoked Blue Eyes deck. Now, I mentioned this a while back, that we had a version of this deck running around for some reason that, well, you know, invoked prices were going up. I joked that, you know, this was for other reasons that Alistair was seeing play, but no. Well, what's happening here is because Alistair the Invoker is able to actually slot into this deck free, because one of the best things that you've got going for you is, where is he? Ah, yes, this is a level 4 or lower dragon or spellcaster. So you can actually just go ahead and do full Alistair combo on your opponent and then just not give a crap. It just allows you to open up the doors, go down the invocation line, and your opponent's just going to be sitting there looking at you going, oh, huh? Like, it's just one of those really weird things that when you have synergy like this built into a deck that you're able to access and use, it's truthfully kind of an impressive time out here. And that's why, you know, Alistair just slots so nicely into this deck. I am curious, though, as the meta kind of evolves and we see more of the evolution of things, if this will kind of get drug out of the meta. Because personally, I think the Buster Blader variant is just better than this. Buster locking your opponent generates and just feels like it does more on the end of the game plan. And then you've got things like, you know, Alistair, who's just getting to what? Makaba and Ogdoadic are your 2 biggest things. And even so, like, these don't really feel like they do a lot. But progressively, depending on the local or the level of competition you're at, I think you can still steal some victories. Interesting tech choices down here with the crossouts in the side deck, though. All right. When was the last time that you saw Kashtira doing some things? I'll give you an answer. It's actually been kind of a common recurring theme out here that we've been seeing Kashtira as the solid metagame choice again. We're back at the point right now that people are looking at Fenrir and they're like, this is the solution to Detonator. Now, my problem with that logic is Cross is a card, and it's not like that the Detonator just won't start punching your field. Like, the minute a Fenrir touches down, or the minute that I suspect that you're playing Kashtira, it's all bars hold and, you know, adjust. And the thing with this deck is there's not a lot of... There's no Metaltroniuses. There's none of those cards that you would be seeing as the anti-tech choices, really, for Rizal. It's kind of why, like, I'm a little bit worried about the logic in, you know, this deck being an anti-meta breaker right now, is because if Rizal's going to be your most... Your one of your hardest matchups, then you need to do something in order to kind of combat that. And I don't know, you're already shiftering, which, I mean, helps you a little bit. You know, shiftering into a Malice player is going to be the end of this deck. I feel like some days of this deck can't handle Malice either, but it's cool to see the progression, especially, you know, in a build that I would consider. It hasn't really changed at all. If you're looking for a time capsule deck, you can just pop out over the last couple of years and kind of play like the same combination of cards with like maybe adjustments in these slots. I think that this is going to be that pile for you. It's old, reliable. The deck has so much standard power for you that it can get you a very long way. All right, what else we got back? Oh, we have more Blue Eyes for you. So I will say it is kind of cool to see the differences in the Blue Eyes meta. You know, you have one list that's just like, yeah, we're going to play Alistair the Invoker. You know, we'll be able to go down Macabre, have that protection, and we'll be good. On the other side of the equation, you've got people that are like, oh, hey, Protector Buster Whelp is fine. And then, you know, you get to the developments of the pure build. Now, this build is playing the Neo Kaiser Seahorse. I'm going to be honest with you. I've played Neo. I don't like him. But the thing is, this is a one-of in this build. It's a free special summon, and then, you know, you just kind of go ahead and do your thing. And on the off chance that you do need to make a hard synchro summon, I mean, it's stupid enough that we can actually do that, but, you know, options are options. Triple Another Barrel is going to be good. Also, because of this, playing the Neo, we also get to play the Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. I absolutely do not like Jet Dragon. I think he is a brick of bricks. You can build a house with him some games, but people seem to like this card. Once again, the cool thing with Blue Eyes is for what minimalistic tech choices you're having, you're not going into bad positions with those decisions. I think the deck structures itself up quite well where it needs to be in the meta. So that's kind of a cool thing to say. Also, you know, having the aggregator in the side deck is kind of a cute little thing for the Ultimate Slayer. Gotta love cleanup on aisle 9, and there's the good old skill drain. The fact that this deck gets away with playing, you know, skill drain as a resource to punish the opponent. Yeah, that's a big one. But, hey, double the Blue Eyes, double the fun. Am I right or am I right? Oh, ooh, we have some Mitsurugi Ogdoadic for you. I've loved the Ogdoadic deck. I just don't know how to play these cards. It's a rough time to be, you know, deciding on, you know, structuring and things and being the optimist to make the perfect card choices. But it looks like Karuse is just the biggest Ogdoadic you're choosing to play. Oh no, there's Nephalius or Nephabus. So yeah, these two are the big ones. And then of course NejiYGO is the new news. What? Huh? Hi, Plague Spreader. How are you? All right. Well, I see that this deck is trying to be some spicy out here with the Plague Spreader. Let's see. Hi, Harold. How are you? All right. Well, I guess you can get into some cool tech options if you really want to. Having a frickin' Plague Spreader, I guess, is something interesting. Little combinations of things you can do with the Daybreak tokens, right? Being able to set on up into this seems relatively strong. Of course, most of the alien stuff, you got to give a shout out to the Planet Pollutant Virus. For as much as we've seen how stupid Planet Pollutant Virus can be, it's definitely one of those cards that will end games for you and incredibly shape games. I don't make the rules. I'm just here to tell you the Planet Pollutant virus saw some play, and it worked out for the duelist. And that's freaking cool. Alright, so what do you guys think about all these cool, awesome decks? Please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys.
Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.